Morning, Nigel. Some good business yesterday then. You brought in two new players, Caelan Vickers and Jordan Rhodes, both on loan, one from Brighton, the other from Blackpool. Would you tell us about them?
Yeah, sort of the ends of the spectrum really, in terms of you've got all the experience of Jordan Rhodes, who's done it at this level and the level above, and scored goals consistently throughout his career. And will just give us that. Hopefully, will nick us a goal or two, an important goal or two, in the next 3 months. So very, very pleased to get Jordan on board. We've been close to him, getting him a couple of times, I think. But once again, geographically, I think the situation helps. You know, he lives in Sheffield, got a young family, so that obviously played a factor in his decision making as well. And young Caelan had moved from Reading a year ago, but played in the first half of the season, so he's got experience at this level, although he's only 20 years old. And he's had a good year, I think, at Brighton, learning, playing with the 21s, and felt it was ready to get back out and play league football again. So he's a little bit different. We thought it was a bit different to anything we've got.
Yeah, Caelan Vickers on paper seems to be a player who perhaps, if you decide to use this formation, can play in behind the front two, as did Davis Keeler done last season. Is that where you see him playing primarily if you decide to use the diamond again? Yeah,
he can play there, and he can play wide, he can play up front or just off a striker, whichever. So it just gives you more options, I think, in the attacking areas, as does Jordan as well. So that was the main bit of thinking behind it. You know, not quite sure of Rhys Oates' situation. We're still waiting for some clarification on that. I don't think that will be clear for a little bit. I think defensively, once Bailey's back from suspension, we're not too bad. We're still okay. You know, we've got Alfie, we've got Flinty, we've got Jordan back there, we've got George Williams. So midfield, we've got bodies. So it was really a case of trying to strengthen where we thought we needed it.
Will these two signings give the squad the shot in the arm?
I don't know. We certainly look as though we need something. I think they'll just help freshen things up a little bit and give us different options.
Generally speaking, how have you reflected on the last match away to Shrewsbury in the last few days?
Not very well, and that's probably the biggest disappointment since Northampton, going back when we hit the rock bottom a few years back, and to lose the game from a winning position that we were in. The last few have been particularly tough to take. Going back to Wycombe, when I thought we were a bit unlucky. We got to Cambridge, we lose the game in the first 8 minutes because we're not ready. Nearly get back into that one, lose against Crawley, 8 minutes to go. And then we get ourselves into a great position against Shrewsbury and blow it. A couple of attacks and score from both of them. And then we have enough situations, but lack of, I think, nous and intelligence and everything cost us a game on Saturday. It's a different game when you're playing against 10 men, and it can be more difficult if you make it that way, and you give the opposition a little bit of encouragement, and that's that sort of place at Shrewsbury. As I say, I saw them do it against Wrexham, where very similar to our game, where Wrexham had the vast majority of the game and still ended up losing 2-1.
In terms of discouragement, why do you equate it with that Northampton game a few seasons ago now, which you went on that run without a win?
Because that was the 5th game straight loss, and we've been trying to stop this. You don't even want back-to-backs. Never mind, this is twice now. We've lost 5 on the spin. Not even got a draw in these games. And yeah, there's a case of we hit the post, we get cleared off the line, they're in the goalkeeper, and so on and so on. There is certainly a case of that, and then they get the 2 opportunities, that they take. So it's not quite going for us, but we have to change that ourselves by not giving them these opportunities. We're in this little run at the moment where every little thing we're getting punished for. Teams aren't battering us, and it still remains the case that I think, apart from the Bolton game with 10 men, Lincoln, where we got done, with every game has been 1 goal in it, which just shows, and all you have to do is turn a few of those defeats into draws. We're over the 40-point mark, and we're a lot more comfortable.
What must give you heart, surely, is the fact that for the majority of this season, we know that You've got a good side on your day.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that's what's even frustrating us even more, is because the way we started the game, I thought we were magnificent for the first 15 minutes, and we weren't bad throughout the game, but just not enough in this current situation, in this current run, to get something from the game. And that's what I keep emphasising to the players. We have to almost be faultless at the moment in order to get a result. And when you look back at the results that we got over Christmas at Peterborough, I thought was faultless. Before that, Rotherham, faultless. We kept Bolton again, and the one after that one went to Stockport. We made it very, very difficult for Stockport to create a chance against us. And on Saturday against 10 men, they had 2 opportunities that they shouldn't have had.
Just going back to deadline day yesterday, how was it on the whole? Did you have to rebuff any offers, and conversely, were you looking for any more?
Well, we're up to our limit squad-wise numbers, so unless somebody had gone, we couldn't bring anybody else in, unless they were under 21. I think Matty Craig still falls under that, and Caelan does as well, so we've got a couple of youngsters there. And we had a couple of inquiries, 2 or 3 for our players, but we're quite happy with the squad, and I think the players are quite happy to stay.
Player status-wise, you talked about Rhys Oates earlier, and that one sounded uncertain. Any update from the other players getting treatment?
Well, Deji is still going to be a few weeks, as is Fraser, although he's progressing very well at the moment, a little bit probably quicker than we thought. We've got Knox, Lewis Reed still quite sore, and Matty Craig the same, so we'll assess them later in the week.
Northampton then on Friday night. What have you made of their season, and most recently under their manager Kevin Nolan? Well,
they've just had an unbelievably good result, going 3-0 up at home to Huddersfield and then winning the game 3-2. Which also shows Huddersfield, how the league, we think we're up and down, and just teams like Huddersfield are the same. Couldn't win a game at the start of the season. I think started well, then had a terrible run, then went 16 unbeaten, and then lose 3 on the spin. That's what the league seems to be about at the moment. But Northampton, I think, just getting to grips with the new manager and everything, and you could see a lot of the things on Saturday. I saw the highlights and the goals that they scored. Tom Eves seems to be rejuvenated. Hoskins is always liable to get a goal, and has done against us a few times in the past few seasons. So as big a test as we'll have. And we've said from the start, don't look at league tables. We've just lost to 3 teams in the bottom 5 or 6, and this will be just as difficult if we're playing Birmingham, Huddersfield, or Stockport.
With that said, do you assess that? Do you look into that, Stags not getting the desirable results against sides nearer the bottom? Yeah,
we seem to make mistakes. That's as much as anything. As I said, when we look back over the last few games, we've made errors that we didn't make against the other sides. The teams that, Birmingham and so on, and even Huddersfield, that scored 2 very, very good goals against us. We've played with the top teams. They've had to work really hard. The teams, I don't know if it's a concentration thing, because they don't have as much as sustained pressure on us. It is the odd break or whatever. The second goal on Saturday, we've got Aaron Lewis, we've got Jordan Bowery running out of position. We hadn't even got the ball. And then the break down the left-hand side, and they get a goal out of nothing. So it's that sort of concentration as much as anything.
Finally, what will you be calling for in a nutshell heading into Friday?
A result.
Good luck.
Thank you.